Hey, everybody. Hope you are doing well. If you don't like this, the Thursday Open Forum edition, the NBA draft is in the books. The Kings take a center with the 42nd overall pick in the draft, center out of Stanford. You know, there were a lot of centers that went in the first round. Kind of surprising to me how many bigs went in the first round. But Maxime Renault from Stanford is the player that the Kings selected. So if you have any thoughts on that, we can discuss. Again, round one last night, round two tonight. I keep on hearing about wingspans. They're saying he has a 7'1" wingspan or a 7'5" wingspan. I don't care because he's a stud. Are we talking about an airplane here? Or are we talking about basketball players? Are these guys going to be flying up and down the court with their arms out? I keep on hearing about wingspans. Can you play or can you not play, for crying out loud? All right. You say he's a stud. Well, he may be a stud, but just remember this. All the centers that went before him in this draft. That doesn't mean he can't play, but just look at all of the centers that went in the first round in particular. All right, I'm counting them up right now. Just in the first round alone, there were 6 centers, 6 in the first round. So that means there were 30 teams that did not have him as a top 6 center in college basketball. That's all I'm saying. All right. I'm not saying he can't play. I'm not saying, I've watched video of him. He looks very skilled. But again, 6 centers went in the first round. He was not one of them. And he was on the board at number 42. We'll see, right? There are mistakes that are made in every single draft. We always talk about that. Every single draft, there are mistakes that are made. Nick Clifford, Kings move up last night in the first round to take this player who's 23, and I like that, out of Colorado State, a wing player. Seems to do everything pretty well, not one thing great, but it was a low-risk move for Sacramento. So I'm fine with that, right? I'm fine with that. All right, again, if you want to get in on the program, we would love to have you. You can give me a call. I'll put the link up right here on the Open Forum podcast. You've got the QR code above my shoulder and anything else that you want to discuss. Now we move on to free agency, which is going to begin next week. And we'll see if the Kings can get a bona fide veteran point guard. There are some out there, and we keep on hearing the rumors, so we'll see what happens. When the Pelicans beat the Kings in the playoffs, kept hearing about the New Orleans player lane. What I kept on seeing in that particular series was a much more athletic team than Sacramento. And I'm not saying that length is not important. I'm not saying that wingspan, but I mean, that's the first thing you're going to talk about. Go away, would you? Seriously. I give the Kings an A+. Well, Pooh, you're obviously drinking again. Outside of Cousins and Fox in the first round, Kings have missed on their picks the last 15 years. Really? Have you ever heard of Tyrese Halliburton? Hello? You ever hear of him? I did see Dylan Caldwell of Auburn has agreed to a 2-way NBA deal with the Kings. Seriously, though. What about Tyrese Halliburton? Unbelievable. So I wouldn't say they missed on Davion Mitchell based on how he's playing now. I wouldn't say that was a miss. So I think you ought to go back and do some more research. 3 years. 3 years. Like if you were going to grade Davion Mitchell now, after his third year, you'd have a completely different viewpoint, would you not? Correct? If the Tyrese Halliburton draft were held all over again, where do you think he would go? Where do you think he would go? I know one thing, he'd go a hell of a lot higher. If the Marvin Bagley draft were held all over again, do you think he would go second? Do you think DeAndre Ayton would have gone one? Just asking. Do you think Trae Young would have gone ahead of Luka Doncic? I mean, you can always go back and redo all these drafts, and teams make mistakes all the time. All the time. All the time. James, you're an idiot. Yeah, I heard of him, but the Kings didn't develop him. The Pacers did. You're a moron. So leave me alone, James. I don't have time for you tonight. You're a moron. Seriously, you're a moron. Speaking of rumors, Russell Westbrook, he's one. Dennis Schroeder's another. Absolutely. That's one thing we do know. Hindsight is 2020. 100% correct. It's a good question, Pooh. Who I want the Kings to get as a point guard. I mean, of all of the names that I've heard recently, Westbrook, no. Schroeder to me makes the most sense because he's 31. If you get Westbrook, I think it's a 1-year type of a situation. Chris Paul, no. I think if you're looking at Schroeder, if you can't make a deal to get like a Darius Garland out of Cleveland, who word in the state of Ohio and Northeast Ohio is that he's on the market. I like him a lot. 25. He has a heck of an upside. I mean, if you could make a deal to get him, he'd be the guy I would want. I think Davion Mitchell would have helped the Kings win Game 7. He wouldn't have hurt Cody after Steph went off for the 50 spot. That's for sure. Chris Paul or Ben Simmons? No and no. 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 I heard rumors of Young and Morant, but I feel like those guys would keep us in the same spot. Thoughts on these guys? I don't like either of them. I don't like either guy. I like him in terms of talent, Morant, but he's just got behavioral issues. I don't think that's a guy that I would feel very confident in running my team. I would not roll the dice on Ben Simmons. I wouldn't want Ben Simmons anywhere near my team. I wouldn't want him anywhere near my team. All right, again, if you want to get in on the program, you got the QR code. I'll put the link up. You can give me a call, or we can just keep on with the chat messages right here on If You Don't Like That. Again, the NBA draft now is behind us, and we start looking towards NBA free agency. And the other thing about some of the guards that I mentioned is there's going to be other teams that are in the market, and we're going to have to see if the Kings are going to have to overpay, whether they're going to make a deal in order to facilitate that position. All right? Going to have to get very creative here. That's for sure. Simmons is a good fit with a starting group. Simmons isn't a good fit anywhere with anybody. Well, have you watched him play? Have you watched how many times he doesn't play? That would be a better retort to what you just said. Have you watched how many games he's not on the floor? Have you watched how many times he's in street clothes? Have you watched how many times he's not able to participate? Is that a guy you want? And you think that's a good fit with a starting group? I'm sorry, I don't agree with you. I think if he were healthy, okay, and was on a team that had solid starters, and again, if he was healthy, maybe. But he's another one that you just have so much baggage with. I don't want baggage guys. All right? I don't want baggage guys anymore. Seen enough of those. You know, Pooh, I don't know what's true and what's not true about the Kings spending money or not spending money. We're going to find out, Pooh. You know what? We're going to find out. Dennis is solid, but we need a point guard for the future. Well, you know what, Dennis? I don't disagree with that. But, it's not like Schroeder's old. He's 31. And you have to worry about, filling out your team this year. Yes, the future is always in mind, but you can only do what you can do. You can only do what you can do. Don't I think that CP3 would fit best for this team if DeRozan and Domas don't get traded? We're not young. No, I don't see. Now that's a good question. What does that do for you? You're not winning the championship this year. What's Chris Paul gonna do for you? Seriously. And then after this next season, then what? And you're starting all over again at that position. I don't like that. Grant, I missed it. Thoughts on Clifford and the kid from Stanford? Reyno's a skilled big. I mean, he's a skilled big, which might translate into being a reserve player. Clifford is good at almost every aspect of the game, not great at any one thing. Got better each year. I like the fact that he's 23. He's not a kid, and I like that. I do like that. I do like the fact that he's 23. So my thoughts are we're going to find out. I say that about everyone. Does Chris Paul still have hopes of winning a title? I would think he would. I'm hearing Dallas a lot, Cody. Be interesting to see how that would work while they wait for Kyrie Irving. Like, I could see that as a likely scenario. Like, that at least makes more sense to me. If I'm Chris Paul, why would I want to go to Sacramento? That's another thing. Ask yourself that. Why? Like, put yourself in Chris Paul's shoes. You're really on your last legs if you even decide you're going to play. Why would you go to Sacramento? Like, what's that going to do for you? Seriously. I like John Collins, but here's two things about John Collins. Danny Ainge is a really smart cat. And if John Collins is available, there's a reason for that. That's what makes me nervous doing any kind of business with Danny Ainge. I don't think Sabonis will want to stick around if the Kings are 500 or below by the All-Star break. Maybe not, but if he's under contract, he's under contract. Dallas makes sense. Only reason to come to Sacramento is to get more dollars. How many more dollars do you think Chris Paul needs, Cody, to enjoy his life? Like, if you're Chris Paul, based on what you've made, do you really think that's going to be a deciding factor? I mean, I don't. I really don't. Sacramento ain't winning no title anytime soon. Reminds me of when I asked Lee Smith, the outstanding reliever for the Chicago Cubs, in the Cubs-Padres playoff series, some 2 hours before the game, and Lee Smith was sitting in the dugout, and I was with my cameraman. I said, Lee, can I get a quick word with you? And his response was, quote, I ain't got nothing to say to nobody about nothing. I said, thank you. And I walked away and I looked at my photographer and I'm like, I ain't got nothing to say to nobody about nothing. Okay, I got it. Oh my gosh. I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that. All right, again, glad to have you with us here on If You Don't Like That. And we are talking a lot about the NBA rounds 1 and 2. We're also talking about New Works Plumbing. They've got a fix for you. They're available around the clock 24/7 for your plumbing needs and repairs. Just go to sackserviceplumbing.com or newworksplumbing.com, NEWWRXplumbing.com. New Works Plumbing, they've got a fix for you. And don't forget about Bennett's and their outstanding brunch this weekend, whether it's Saturday or Sunday. And whether you are at the Sacramento Roseville location or the West Side Grill in Rockland, you get prime seafood and steaks at Bennett's. Go to Bennett'sRestaurants.com. That's Bennett'sRestaurants.com. Make a reservation. You'll love it. 3 locations in the greater Sacramento area. A lot of free agents don't want to play for Utah. I would agree with that. But you know, the other thing that Utah has going for them is players know, or agents know, and that Danny Ainge is going to build something there. And, you know, players at the end of the day, they want to do 2 things. They want to win and they want to make money. So keep that in mind. But that is true to a degree. To a degree. Thoughts on the Nets keeping all 5 of their first rounders? Very interesting to me. You know, very interesting to me. And I think, 4 of the 5 were guards. So, I mean, I don't know if that's going to stick, whether there will still be deals that could and will be made. We'll see with Jordi Fernandez and the Brooklyn Nets. But, yeah, they were very active. That is for sure. They were very, very active. What are my thoughts on potentially trading Sabonis? I feel that the Kings should trade high on him while they can. Well, when you say trade high on him while they can, he's still going to have a lot of value, barring injury. I mean, he's just in his prime. So I don't know about that. My thoughts are, I don't know what you would get back in return. I mean, I always say this. If you ask me, would I trade someone? I would trade anybody. There's nobody on the Kings that's untradeable, right? Can we agree on that? They don't have any players that are untradeable. So then the question becomes, well, what are you going to get in return? Like, you could get a lot of value for Sabonis in return. Does that make your team better? Jerry Reynolds considers him the best center that the Kings have ever had and one of the top in the league. So if you're going to trade him, you better get someone back that's pretty good. I mean, you really should. You know, Dennis, I think you need to calm down a little bit, Dennis. Like you need to slow down. You really do. You need to take a break. Like, give yourself 10 minutes, put your feet up on the sofa and just relax. Okay? I mean, you can't put Colorado State in the Mountain West Conference in the same category as back then the Southwest Conference and the Big East. Can we calm down, Dennis? Can we just chill out a little bit, please? Go look at the teams that Kevin Durant played against his freshman year, and go look at the teams Carmelo Anthony played against, and then go look at the difference, all right, at some of these others. Now, I know you were talking about Reno, and I'm talking about Colorado State, because to me, that's where you're going to get the most value in this draft. I will say this to you, Dennis. Reno at Stanford played big-time college basketball for sure, unlike Clifford. Clifford, it's not small time, but it's not the big time. He did play a legitimate college basketball schedule. We get that. But I'm going to ask you something, Dennis, with those type of numbers. Carmelo Anthony and Kevin Durant, where they went in the draft, right? No one could really argue with that. We knew that they were highly projected, and if it could go all over again, Portland would not have taken Greg Oden, correct? Dennis, I'm going to ask you a question, and I really mean this. Why is it that so many centers went ahead of Reno? And that doesn't mean that he's not going to be good. I'm not I'm not implying that he can't be a good NBA player. But what I'm saying is, all right, 6 centers in the first round. There was a center taken at 34, a center taken at 35. So that's 8 centers. And then Reynaud, he was the 9th center taken in a weak draft. Dennis, I'm asking you, Dennis, does that mean anything to you? Now you can take your feet off the couch and you can get back to work. Does that mean anything to you that in a draft that's not really, I guess, the analytics and the experts, they didn't really consider this a good draft? And in a draft that's not very good, the Kings selected at the 42nd pick a player that was taken 9th at his position. All right? Dennis is spot on. More defensive for sure, bigger shot blockers. Don't disagree with that. All right? I know Joker was a second-round pick, but that was a totally different scenario, playing overseas where everything was different back then. No one even heard of Nikola Jokic. And when I mean, I'm talking about the mainstream basketball people. So that's completely different. Here's a guy that played at Stanford, okay? And I don't know much about him. I've watched his highlights, and you can make anyone look good on a highlight reel. He looks skilled. But again, I go back to asking you this. Why is it, if you want to put him in the same sentence as Kevin Durant and Carmelo Anthony, for crying out loud, okay? I mean, Dennis, you put him in the same sentence as Kevin Durant and Carmelo Anthony. Dennis, think about that for a minute. Dennis, you put him in the same sentence as Kevin Durant and Carmelo Anthony. Come on. Come on. Unbelievable. And again, I'm not saying that he won't make the team, and I'm not saying that he can't play. I'm just saying, ask yourself why in a draft that's not that strong, he was the 9th center taken. Man. All right, again, if you want to get in on the program, you can give me a call. We'd love to have you right here. Dennis, give me a call, would you? We can have some fun, Dennis. We can get into it. And if not, just keep the messages coming, Dennis. But Dennis, don't put him in the same sentence as Kevin Durant and Carmelo Anthony, all right? Please, don't do it. Don't do it. We're Kings fans, Grant. Let us be delusional. Yeah. Oh, my gosh. Will media put Flag in the same sentence as Garnett? Yep. And they probably should. I don't have a problem with that. I mean, most people that cover the draft in college basketball have him labeled as a can't miss type of a player and extremely special. And that doesn't mean it's going to happen, but I think he's got a good chance. Yes. When would you say Murray has reached his potential? This coming season, season after that, or after that? Good question. I would say, based on his age and everything else, 5th or 6th year, I think will be his ceiling. That will be his ceiling. Now, you can always learn more, become more experienced, trends, how you look at film and everything else, but I'd say 5th or 6th season. Vintage Grant Napier. When someone would call the show back in the day and they would let him have it. Come on. Reynaud in the same sentence as Kevin Durant and Carmelo Anthony? Just my opinion, Grant, Flag won't live up to the hype in the NBA. And why is that? Like, what's your opinion based on? Yang looks nice. Well, nobody had him going in the first round. Cooper might be the next Larry Bird. I don't know about that. We'll see. If the Kings get Jonathan Kuminga, can he be someone we can start over and build around, similar to Mitch Richmond? Well, first of all, you didn't. When the Kings traded for Mitch, and I think that's a fair way of looking at it, they were so bad that they used Mitch as their cornerstone. You are 100% correct. I can't put Mitch Richmond rookie of the year, you know, already an all-star caliber player, and compare him to Kuminga. It's different. If you feel that Kuminga has that ability to be a cornerstone of your team, then go for it. I don't. Mitch, you knew Mitch could do that. Like, there wasn't a lot of mystery around Mitch Richmond. It's just that Don Nelson and the Warriors were in love with Billy Owens for some reason. Cody says, I hope Kuminga does not come to Sacramento. I think that would be, most people would say that, Cody, for sure. Spurs won the draft. I think they had a very good draft. I would agree with that. I think they had a very good draft. I don't know if they won the draft. Right now, it looks like they had a very good draft. Hey, Sunrise Landing in Calusa. Go to CalusaSunrise.com. You'll get all the information on beautiful Sunrise Landing, a Blazona development project with beautiful models to choose from. And remember, no homeowners, no Mellorews, adjacent to the Calusa Golf and Country Club. Good access to I-5, Highway 45, Highway 20. Again, CalusaSunrise.com. Check it out. Beautiful Sunrise Landing in Calusa. CalusaSunrise.com. You'll get a lot more information that I can give you here on my live stream on If You Don't Like That. All right. Guess who's online? Who I love talking to. PK, what's going on, buddy?
What's up, big dog?
Hey, man, what's going on with you?
Man, I don't know what Kings are doing. I thought Kings were gonna make some moves, maybe move some of these guys out sooner. Um like DeRozan is on everyone's plate as wanting to move, maybe Sabonis. I don't know. Why do you think they did not move guys before the trade deadline?
Um, you talking about the trade
I mean,
deadline or the
before
draft?
a draft, before the
Well,
draft.
they probably tried and they couldn't come up with a deal that really they liked or made sense. I don't agree with you about Sabonis. I don't think they are trying to move him. I think they're keeping him. DeRozan, I do think that they would try to move. And a lot of times, if the deal's not there, you don't make it. You still have free agency and a lot of things that are going to happen here in the next 10 days.
But DeRozan has to go. Like, don't you agree with that?
Yes. Well,
DeRozan has to go, and then how? Also, like as far as having Levine, I think Levine is a decent talent, but his contract is a mess. How can we even deal with Levine on the roster? Like, he's not tradable because of the contract,
you
right?
don't have a choice. I mean, if he's on the roster, he's going to start because he's still one of your most talented players, and you
But
just
his
have to hope for the
contract
best.
his
I
contract
understand, but
makes
you
him
can't
really
do
hard to
anything
move,
about
right?
Yes, you're exactly right, but what are you going to do? You can't just say, "Hey, you don't have a contract anymore."
Man, you know what I saw in this draft when Miami drafted that dude from that Lithuanian dude from Illinois. I was like, how does Miami draft so well? And Kings, I don't know how we ended up with no draft picks this year. Like, Grant, explain to me how we traded Fox and got no draft picks
No,
in
you did.
return.
You got draft picks, but not this year. So don't worry about that right now. Worry about this year. Don't worry about the Kings got a lot of draft capital in the Fox trade, but you're not seeing it yet. You will though.
Okay. So this year you're like I mean, we're not like I don't even know where to start. This year we keep Sabonis, right? We keep JV as a backup. Why did we draft a center? I don't know. Then we have DeRozan, who doesn't want to play here. We have Levine, who has a bad contract.
PK,
We have no bench.
PK. It's June 26th. Okay, we haven't even gotten the free agency yet, and the bulk of where the trade market is going to be. You're making all of these observations without even having any clue of what the roster is going to look like. All the players that you just mentioned, half of them might not even be on the team.
Well, here's the thing: the money does not add up. If Sabonis asks for more money, Levine has a huge contract. Kings, what do you think Kings are going to be as far as draft capital? Where do you think they're going to be ranked this year as far as teams? Like, how much space do they have in on their capital to actually make some moves or bring even Kaminga? Kaminga's going to go to Miami, that's for sure.
Well, I don't know where Kaminga is going to go, but I can't answer your question because if you trade a player that makes a lot of money, uh, it changes everything. And there's the aprons now that we keep on talking about in the collective bargaining agreement, which can be complicated for those. The Kings are not. I'm just going to say this, PK. I think this phone call is about 7 to 10 days premature. I think you need to
Mhm.
call me back around the 7th, 8th, 9th of July. And I think
Mhm.
we might be having a different conversation. And if we're
What would
not, if
what
we're
would you
not
like to
having,
see then?
what's that?
What would you like to see?
I want to see the Kings get an established veteran point guard. That's number
Okay.
one. I would like to see them
And do
move.
you have any kind of prospects for point guard
Well,
that's
we
available?
talk about the guys that are available. We've mentioned them, and then the number two, PK. I would like to see them move DeRozan. I would like to see them change the pieces of this puzzle around, which they need to do.
But you're with Jerry, like a Sabonis, keep him here for now.
I don't think he's going anywhere.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Appreciate
PK,
it.
take care, buddy.
All right. Love you guys.
See you, man. All right, let's get to another phone call, and it's Chad. Hello, Chad.
Hey Grant, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Doing great. I kind of agree with you on the draft process. I mean, if Renaud plays like a few minutes a night, you know, and hits a three every now and then, I'm okay with that. I mean, the salary is going to be really low, and I think worst case scenario, he's a third guy off the bench, center wise. But we have something we didn't have before. We have a 7-footer who can come in off the bench, hit a three. You know,
Yeah, we'll
um,
see. I'm not ready to go there just yet. Let's wait and see what summer league looks like. Let's wait and see
yeah.
what training camp looks like. He might be on the Stockton team for a year. We don't know yet. Let's just wait and see how it materializes.
Well, I think that's the good thing about taking him in the second. You're right. He could be the starting center for the Stockton Kings until he's ready, or maybe he's never ready. But it's only a 42nd pick, and I
Yeah.
think that
Yep.
taking the best player available, I think, was the right thing to do in this situation.
Okay. Fair enough. Hey, Chad, thanks for calling, buddy.
You too, man. Have a good night.
Hey, you too. Appreciate it. Let's get to McLean. Hello, McLean. You're next here on If You Don't Like That.
Hey, I barely heard the end of the call, so you might be repeating an answer, but because I only heard the back end. So I'm not gonna lie, I'm very biased. My favorite player on the King is Jonas Valanciunas. Is what happened tonight? Is that spell? Is the writing on the wall that he may not be here much longer?
Well, first of all, if you're going to compare Renault to Valanciunas, that's like comparing a B-52 bomber to a 737-200, which is the first model of a 737. Valanciunas is far superior of a basketball player, so that's number one. Number two, could Valanciunas be moved? He could be. I've always liked Valanciunas. I think he's a very good player, very experienced, and no one is making a claim right now that Renault is better than Valanciunas. Now, could he be in 5 years from now? Well, the Kings hope so, but right now, I mean, it's not even a conversation. I mean, Valanciunas is a really good basketball player. He's very good, and his resume and career states that.
Yeah, I like him too. Do you think then this could be an opening to put Valanciunas in the starting five, which I would like, Sabonis to 4, and then if Renault can be ready, because I know that was kind of an emphasis, is try to get guys who are more mature and closer to playing in the NBA, that this might replace Trey Lyle possibly, Renault, or maybe he's the backup center and we
Listen,
can move.
I'm not gonna. I think we're putting a cart ahead of the horse here. Your questions
Okay.
are no wait. Your questions are valid,
Yeah.
Okay, I think you're because you're thinking about why would you take a player like this. Here's what I would say about Renault. And first of all, I'm not an expert on him, so I'm not going to sit here and act like I've watched him play his whole career.
Sure.
In a draft that's not very strong, he was the 9th center taken. Okay. So here's the way I'm going to look at this. The first thing I want to see him do is make the roster. The first thing I want to see him do is make the team and not be on the Stockton Kings. Okay. After that, then I want to see, okay, are you able to put him onto the floor for any length of time? Or are you looking at him as the 13th guy on the bench who's going to be a good practice player who will learn and develop? And hopefully, as the year goes on, maybe get a little bit more time because of an injury or just continue to develop. That's what I'm looking at for Renault.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. And I hope you have a good night and take it
I
easy.
appreciate it. Good call. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right. Let's get to Ashley. Hello, Ashley.
Oh, hello.
Hello. Go ahead.
I was just saying, like Renault, I'm kind of getting deja vu vibes of Alex Lynn. Do you think he's gonna be a lot better? Or I feel like I'm getting deja vu on that.
You know, I don't know enough about him I mean, Alex Len was a high lottery pick, if you remember, for the Phoenix Suns, and never quite lived up to his expectations, although he's still in the league. It's hard for me to say. I don't know that much about Renault. I really don't. It's very hard to say.
All right. Thanks.
All right. Thank you. And when I say I don't know much about him, I haven't watched him play a lot. I only go by what I read. I think you got to be careful comparing a guy that's taken 42nd in a draft to somebody that's played in the league for over 10 years. That's what I would say, you know. But, you know, is he a project? Maybe he is, right? But you took him 42nd, so that's fine. If he's a project and he ends up being a project that's worth it, then that's fine, you know. But then that would be okay. That would be okay. I think we're going to get a little bit of a look and a better feel from Summer League. And then, you know, if he doesn't look good in Summer League, then that's a big concern. I've always said this. If you're going to be an NBA player and you don't stand out in Summer League, that's not a good sign for both of the Kings players, by the way. You know, you need to get done with Summer League and go, wow, okay, I think both of these guys can contribute. Maybe not be all-stars, maybe not be starters, but I could see them how they fit and we'll have a role. And if you can have two players in a draft that can do that, then it's a good draft if you're a non-playoff team. And the Kings are a non-playoff team. That's how I look at that. And I think that's how you should look at it. All right? Oh, look who's on the line here. Dennis.
Yo.
Dennis, thank you for calling, man. All right, Dennis, I got to ask you. I know you're in the numbers and everything, but you killed me.
I am. You know I love numbers.
In the same sentence as Kevin Durant and Carmelo Anthony. You're killing me over here.
In the last 25 years, this man's name came up with two greats, 20 and 10 averaging, making over 53s in the season. That's pretty rare numbers, Grant. And
all right, why was he taken? Why was he the 9th center taken in the NBA draft?
Like we said, I saw a lot of these big men, bigger than him, more defensive orientated. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
Okay.
Like this guy has more of a bag, like all around game, where the people in front of him were more stout defensively, and teams were looking for like we said, teams were looking for that one specific asset that you can bring to them, or you know, like you said, something maybe you can develop into something more. But you got to bring something. And with the first pick, I gave that a C plus.
Okay, why? Why did you give it a C plus?
Well, right now I don't even see him being on the floor with all the guards we have. Like that was crazy to me. He's not a point guard.
No, he's not a point guard. He's a wingman. Okay, right. but you're looking at the roster now, Dennis.
Now, yes, of course. So that's why. Yeah. So you know, and like we saw what he did getting back in the first round. So he might already have a trade lined up or something lined up to, get this guy in right away because he's 23. There's no waiting around for him. He's got to go in right away. So unless we're moving Keon, Devin, DeMar, Levine, Monk, geez.
Well, you're not going to be able to move Levine in all likelihood. I think that would really be wishful thinking, and I just don't see that. I think DeRozan's likely. Now, as far as Malik Monk goes, Dennis, and you obviously study this, and I was busting your chops earlier. I know you're somebody that is really into this. I'm not a fan of moving Malik Monk. I wouldn't know what you could get back in return, but I like Monk. Do you like him?
I love Monk, but
Yeah.
I think the value's there. That's why. And I think teams are going to want to go after Monk, younger,
Yep.
more all around game,
Yep.
where DeMar is just more midi and foot on the line 3-pointers, it's just,
Yeah.
and people see Monk and like that contract, like that he already knows his role. He's been a bench guy. He can come in, spot start, where DeMar is looking to start. So you're looking at way more options with Monk. So, and like I said, the contract's really friendly too. He's younger. And DeMar is looking at the next stop, and that's probably it. That's he's done,
Here's the other issue. Here's the other aspect of what's going on right now with the Kings. You have a new general manager who might have a different opinion on some of the players than the previous general manager, and therefore those players are probably on their way out if he can facilitate a trade. That's why I think, Dennis, the next 10 days are going to be really interesting and defining for this franchise for the foreseeable future, because most of the trades are going to be made in the next 10 days.
Oh, 100%. We got Monday's coming around for free agent signing.
Yeah.
So, it'd be really interesting to see what we do. We talked to Ronald earlier. Couldn't get to precise numbers on how much money we had, but we still have the MLE, $14.1 million.
Yep.
So we can use that to sign somebody we like. So we have a lot of options here, and I really like the vision Scott Perry is going with. This guy from Auburn, we just picked up, Dylan.
Yep.
Oh my goodness, he's going to be perfect for us. He's a nice little dunker / defensive big man.
Why wasn't he drafted?
Smaller size.
Okay, so
that's it. Yeah,
okay.
he's not 7'4", he's not 7'5" like some of these other guys. He's 6'9" or something like that. Measurements. Who knows if they're skewed or not? Like I told you earlier, I don't care if a guy has 7'5" wingspan, 7'1" wingspan. Can he play? Can he play?
Right.
I don't care about wingspan. You can have a 10-foot wingspan. Can you play?
Hey, you and I think alike, man. I'm the exact same way.
Yeah, 100%. So I really like the last couple additions we added there. That's
all right.
So hey, Dennis, that's where my mind's at with you. So yeah, 100%.
Dennis, I'm just busting your chops earlier, right? I appreciate you, man.
Always.
All right.
I'm here for you, brother.
All right. Hey, Dennis, have a good night. All right.
You too. I'm enjoying my red wine. Cheers.
All right, enjoy. That's a good call. I love busting chops with Dennis, but the guy's very knowledgeable. He really is. But I had to get on him for putting Renault in the same sentence as Kevin Durant and Carmelo Anthony. Oh, my gosh. Wow. That's pretty funny. Dennis, you're a good man. You know what I like about Dennis? I got on him. And then all the great fans here said, Dennis, you got to call. And he called. And he was great. I like that. Good stuff. Oh, good stuff. All right. Tomorrow, I am not going to be able to work. Tomorrow's a travel day for me. I will be back on Monday. We're going to get NBA free agency going and everything else. This has been a good show. We had a lot of good calls today. I really appreciate that when we get so many good calls. Dennis, I'm giving you, I don't want to upset PK, but Dennis, I'm giving you the caller of the week. How's that? Okay, buddy? Your stipend is in the mail. Oh, man. See, look at it. Look at all the people complimenting you, Dennis. A lot of compliments. I love it. Good stuff. Take care, everybody. I'll be back Monday. Oh, I like to laugh and smile once in a while. It's good. Dennis, you're a good man. We'll talk to you soon. Take care, everyone. Bye bye now.